Did the Longhorns just land the next Travis Hunter? I'll tell you about Texas's newest commit on today's episode of Locked On Longhorns. Intro!
You are Locked On Longhorns, your daily podcast on the Texas Longhorns. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. You were locked on to the Texas Longhorns. I'm your host, BK Brad Kellner, Texas grad, Austin native, and longtime sports radio host here in the Lone Star State. Thank you for making Locked On Longhorns a part of your day every single day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as well. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and tell your Longhorn friends about Locked On, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Steve Sarkisian was able to bring in the number one class in the country in 2025. What is he going to do for an encore? Well, if this week is any indication, it's going to be another loaded class for Texas in 2026. Earlier today, the Longhorns landed a commitment from five-star athlete Germaine Bishop Jr. He plays his high school football at Willis High here in the state of Texas, and he chose the Longhorns over Texas A&M, Oklahoma, USC, Florida, and more than 20 other offers from around the country. What makes Germaine Bishop Jr. so special? He plays both ways. Some recruiting sites have him listed as a cornerback. Others have him listed as an athlete. And on his high school team, he plays both wide receiver and cornerback, and he is damn good at both. How about these numbers? 2 years ago, as a sophomore on varsity, Bishop had 1,414 receiving yards and 17 touchdowns. He was playing with former five-star and current Florida quarterback DJ Lagway that year. And people wondered, okay, well, without your five-star quarterback, what are the numbers going to look like? How about 1,565 yards and 18 receiving touchdowns this past season for Bishop? Yeah, not too shabby. This is pretty cool, too. He is 796 receiving yards away from being the all-time receiving yards leader in Greater Houston high school football, and he's roughly 1,500 receiving yards away from being top 10 in Texas high school football history. So if he puts together another season, just like his last two, then not only is he going to go down in the school record books and the district record books, he's going to go down as one of the most productive players in Texas high school football history. And just think about how many awesome players have come through this state. Yeah, Germaine Bishop Jr. making a name for himself, and he'll have one more season to continue to do that. So those are the offensive numbers right there. Not too shabby. About 3 interceptions, 6 PBUs, and 2 forced fumbles in 2024. He also has had 4 non-offensive touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. So not only is this guy getting into the end zone on offense, he's finding ways to score on defense as well. He's taking the ball away. He is the consummate playmaker who just makes stuff happen, and he has been a huge part of Willis High School's success these last 2 seasons. 5'11", only 155 pounds. Mike Roach of 24/7 Sports called him the best two-way player in this class. There were a lot of schools out there that were only recruiting Bishop as a one-way player, but it sounds like Texas, and we'll see what happens when Bishop gets on the 40 acres, but it sounds like the Longhorns are at least open to the idea of him playing both ways. If you're not already excited, how about this profile from Gabe Brooks, also of 24/7 Sports? Quote, one of the best pure football players in the country, reflected by absurd production on both sides of the ball across multiple Texas 6A varsity seasons. Dynamic three-phase playmaker who lacks ideal measurables and frame specs, but possesses wiry tendon strength shown in ball skills, run after catch strength, and surprising striking power for such a lean cover man. Ball skills magician, immense production at receiver, nearly 3,000 yards and 35 touchdowns in his sophomore and junior seasons. Also recorded 8 interceptions and scored 4 non-offensive TDs in that span. If you're not already excited, here's more. Legitimate candidate to play two-way snaps at the Power 4 level. High school profile similar to players such as Kamari Lassiter, Ladd McConkey, Jordan Addison, perhaps even Travis Hunter in recent years. Projects as a high major impact player who could become an early round draft candidate. End quote. Now, that'll work. I don't know if Jermaine Bishop is going to beat Travis Hunter. We are talking about a guy who just won the Heisman and a guy who was just picked second overall in this year's NFL draft. But if Jermaine Bishop is like 70 to 80% of Travis Hunter, then Texas has itself a star. He's going to be so much fun to watch. He's going to be so much fun to root for. And look, even if he doesn't turn into Travis Hunter to where he's a two-way sensation like Kamari Lassiter, great college player, just had a great first year with the Houston Texans. Ladd McConkey, great college player, just had a great first year with the LA Chargers. Jordan Addison has become one of the best young receivers in the NFL. Those are guys that you want to be compared to. And if you're a fan, those are guys you want the players your school brings in to be compared to. High major impact player who could become an early round draft candidate. And I think it's important to note that, this is not only Texas high school football, but this is 6A Texas high school football that Jermaine Bishop Jr. has been putting up those numbers in, going up against the best of the best, and he has made it happen for 2 years in a row, and I think there's a damn good chance it'll be 3 seasons in a row. Bishop wants to play both ways. He did say if he had to pick one side of the ball, it would be defense. Again, not entirely sure how Texas views him. I think if he is a one-side player, it will likely be at corner. But man, it's going to be fun to watch. He's going to be fun to root for. And again, if this guy is anything close to what Travis Hunter was at Colorado these last couple of years, and then at Jackson State before that, then the Longhorns have themselves maybe the most fun player in this entire recruiting class of 2026. I cannot wait to see what Jermaine Bishop does when he gets to Austin. That is a huge, huge pickup for Texas. We got a couple of video clips. We don't always do this here on Locked On Longhorns, but to get you even more pumped up about Texas's newest addition, we've got a couple of random clips. This one is from a camp. You see Jermaine Bishop Jr. running a route as a receiver, and I'll play it one more time. I'm not sure y'all caught that here. In the middle of his cut, his shoe falls off. He doesn't lose a step. He's running with one shoe on and one shoe off, and he still blows by the guy covering him and catches this pass in stride and waltzes into the end zone for an easy score. So that's a camp clip. How about a game clip from last season? There's Jermaine Bishop right there, just catches the screen, hurdle, and then boom, turns on the jets. Going from jumping over a dude to that speed and that short of an amount of time, very, very impressive. We'll show this clip one more time for you so you can enjoy it. Look at that. Just jumps over a dude and then turns on the afterburners. An easy touchdown along the right sideline. If you're watching on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. Hopefully I explained that well enough for those of you tuned in podcast form. But a freak athlete, stud production against the best competition in the country. And a guy who was ranked as a 5-star from our friends at 24/7 Sports. That was today's commit. Texas also picked up a 4-star cornerback commit last Friday. Cornerback Hayward Howard Jr. from New Orleans gave his verbal to the Longhorns late last week. And this is huge, man. Texas going in to the state of Louisiana and taking a kid who had an offer from LSU. That's not easy to do. We know how well Louisiana is able to recruit its homegrown talent. I should say Louisiana State is able to recruit the homegrown talent in the state of Louisiana. They do a tremendous job of keeping the guys they want at home. Texas has had a little bit of success in recent years. Obviously, Arch Manning. Think about Derek Williams Jr. You think about Wardell Mack, guys like Malcolm Roach and Barron Sorrell, who are, of course, now in the NFL. Texas has done a pretty good job going east to the Bayou State and taking players away from the Bayou Bengals. Anytime that happens, that is massive. And for the Horns to do this, despite losing Terry Joseph to the New Orleans Saints, Terry Joseph, obviously a Louisiana guy, had connections to that state, was worried about how the Longhorns were going to be able to fare in Louisiana after he departed. Well, so far, so good. Hayward Howard Jr., 6'2", 175 from the New Orleans area. He's the 33rd ranked corner in the class of 2026. Texas was one of the 4 finalists, LSU, Miami, and Florida State. The others, he had offers from a bunch of different schools across the country. Another big get. So a great 5 or 6 days for Steve Sarkisian and company on the recruiting trail. Texas now has 7 players committed for the class of 2026. That number is going to increase here in the summertime. The Longhorns class currently ranks 30th in the nation, according to the composite rankings. I'm here to tell you, it won't be ranked number 30 by the time we get to signing day. This is only the beginning, but two huge pieces in the last week for Texas football. And again, you get Travis Hunter comparisons. That's going to get me excited. I cannot wait. I'm going to be paying close attention to what Jermaine Bishop Jr. does in his senior year of high school ball. And pumped to see what he brings to the table when he becomes a Texas Longhorn. All right, comment below with your thoughts on these two pickups. Steve Sarkisian and this Texas coaching staff continuing to get it done on the recruiting trail. We're going to shift gears here. We'll still talk Texas football, but if you are looking to take a road trip to watch the Horns this fall, let me be your travel guide. We've got a ranking of the best road destinations for Texas football in 2025 coming up next right here on Locked On Longhorns. But first, a word for our friends at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. Couple of great games last night. We've got even more tonight and through the week and through the weekend. And it is ramping up. Every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. And our friends at FanDuel, they make it so easy to stay in the game. Before tip-off and live as well, player props, performance trends, same-game parlays, you've got more ways to win than ever before. And you no longer have to rush to make sure you get everything in before the game starts. No, in-game betting as well from our friends at FanDuel. And how about this? $200. A $200 bonus sounds pretty nice, right? That could add a little excitement to your FanDuel game. They're going to give you $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet hits. It's as simple as that. If you are a new customer, now is the perfect time to sign up. Head over to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If that wins, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets just like that. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to Locked On Longhorns, your team every day. We are just over 100 days away from Texas opening up the 2025 season at Ohio State. The Longhorns will play 5 true road games this coming season. That obviously does not include the Red River Shootout in Dallas against Oklahoma. We're going to rank the 5 road trips in order for this segment. Again, not including Red River. That would be number 1 on the list every year for me. Man, I go to that game every year. I've been double-digit times now. I hope to continue going every year for as long as I'm alive. It never gets old, especially when Texas wins. And my dream, since I could hear y'all asking through your phones and through your computer screens, is to sit on the OU side of the Cotton Bowl for a Texas win. Last year would have been perfect. 3 years ago would have been perfect. Like a year where I know Texas is going to win. You almost never really know because there's crazy stuff that happens in that game. But a year that I'm super confident that the Horns are going to get it done. I'm going to go sit on the OU side of the 50 and burn orange garb and just talk a bunch of trash. Might get in a fight. Might get my you-know-what kicked, but how much fun would that be to relish in Sooner misery? I want to drink all those Sooner tears, baby. One of these years, I'm going to make that happen. If you've never been to Texas OU, scratch everything else off of your bucket list and put that one at the very, very top. It is a must for Texas fans. It's a must for OU fans. It's a must for college football fans. Just get to Dallas if you've never experienced that before, because it is unlike anything that college football has to offer. Anything like sports has to offer, honestly. It is one of a kind. All right, soapbox there. Let's get to the 5 road trips. We're going to rank them from 5 to 1, 5 being the worst, 1 being the best. We'll start at the bottom of the list, and I'll try to help you figure out where you need to go to watch your team play this season. Number 5, Mississippi State. Feels pretty obvious, right? Starkville, Mississippi. You've got the obnoxious cowbells. Look, I've heard good things about the fans. They tailgate hard. They drink good. I know a lot of Texas fans who made the trip to watch the Longhorn baseball team play in Starkville this year. They had a great time. Helped that Texas swept Mississippi State this year. But I'm good on going to the middle of Mississippi. I don't need to hear a bunch of cowbells while I'm trying to watch my favorite team play football. Hard pass on a trip to Mississippi State. Like some of the places on this list, it's like, oh, maybe not this year, but down the road, I want to go. I could go my whole life without watching Texas play a game at Mississippi State. Sorry to any Bulldogs fans tuned in. It's nothing personal. Number 4, Ohio State. This one being this low on the list may surprise some folks. 2 Blue Bloods, a likely top 3 matchup to open up the season. Could be Lee Corso's last ever college game day. Well, it's probably better to be watching that on TV where you can actually see it and hear it versus being there in person. But it's a massive game. Y'all don't need me to tell you that. We spent a whole segment on yesterday's show talking about how much of a travesty it is that game is big noon kickoff on Fox, little noon kickoff, as we like to call it. I just don't want to go. I don't want to constantly hear about the college football playoff game from fans, from the Jumbotron. I mean, they're going to be showing highlights from that game for all 4 quarters, before, during, and after the game. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. It's going to make me sick. It's going to bring back one of the worst memories of my life. I don't want any part of it. And I think I've told this story before on this show. I know people who went to that game at the Shoe in 2005, 20 years ago, and they still have horror stories. They swear that is the worst place they've ever had to go to watch a Texas football game. The fans are jerks. They'll spit on you. They'll throw beer on you. Like, they are just horrible human beings. And yeah, I mean, they would be like that on any normal Saturday, but they're going to be raising a banner, and they beat Texas to get to the national championship. And every Longhorn fan feels like if Texas just won that game, they would have won the national championship. And it's an 11 a.m. game. Yeah, no thanks. I'm good on that. I'll wait till the Buckeyes make the return trip to DKR next year. Thank you very much. Number 3, as we rank the road trips for Texas football this fall, Kentucky. Less about the team, more about the trip. Like, I don't think Kentucky's going to be very good this year. Stoops is back. I think their fans hate that, honestly. Most Kentucky fans wanted him fired. It didn't happen. He's still there. He could be on his way out at some point during or after 2025. That's a game Texas should win at Kroger Field, but should be great weather there, late October. I really just want to go because of everything else to do in Kentucky. The bourbon trails, the bourbon tours, the horse tracks. Like, I would maybe skip the game and just watch it at the track, lose a bunch of money on the ponies, drink a bunch of Kentucky bourbon, and boom, there's your trip right there. Like, if you are going to go to Lexington that weekend, make sure you set an alarm and you actually make it to the game, because you could get sidetracked with all of the other things that you can do. And a lot of those other things that you can do involve alcohol. So I hear it's beautiful up there. I want to make a Kentucky trip at some point. But to me, yeah, it's less about that being some sort of premier primetime matchup and more about being a cool place to go take a trip. By the way, Kentucky 1 week after Oklahoma. So we'll be up there in Dallas for Texas OU. That'll be a tough back-to-back for a lot of fans out there, I would think. Curious what the crowd is going to look like on October 18th, Texas at Kentucky. Number 2, Florida, the Swamp. Wow. The SEC opener for Texas this year on October 4th. That's right before the OU game. So again, it's back-to-back trips. If you are planning on going to the Cotton Bowl, maybe it's a little tougher to do 2 weekends in a row, but I know a lot of Longhorn fans will be making their way out to Gainesville. Another matchup between 2 Blue Bloods, a historic location to watch a college football game. And oh, by the way, Texas hasn't played in Gainesville since 1940. So most of you listening to the sound of my voice right now have never seen Texas play at Florida. It's going to be a hectic atmosphere, 100,000 plus. Florida season won't be done yet. I don't know what they're going to be. Now, DJ Lagway looks like a star in the making, but Billy Napier is back. Sunbelt Billy. They closed the year well after Texas smoked them kind of midway through the season. I don't think Florida's going to be all that good. They've got another brutal schedule in 2025, but still, fun place to win. It'll be a test for Texas. I don't want to sound like it'll be an easy victory, but great atmosphere, great matchup, great uniform game too. Texas wearing their their stormtrooper, icy whites, whatever you want to call them, going up against those Florida Blues. Oh, it's going to be gorgeous and easy on the eyes. But again, with that one being right before Red River, tough to do back-to-back. But that's number 2 on my list. One of these days, definitely want to get to the Swamp if it's not this year. But number 1, the one road trip that you should make if you're a Texas football fan and you can only pick one game away from Texas to go see, Georgia. There's nothing I like more than sports revenge. I'm not a vengeful guy in life. Like, I don't really hold grudges. I think life's too short to waste your time with that stuff. But life and sports are different. In sports, oh yeah, I hold grudges. I want revenge whenever I can get it. After what Georgia did, I mean, they brought a bunch of fans to Austin in October, and the way that game went down in the regular season, and then obviously you couple that with what happened in the SEC title game. Yeah, revenge is a dish best served cold. I want to serve it real cold in Athens between the hedges this year. I want to go and I want to win. But also, what a matchup. Another great uniform game, another potential top 3 to 5 matchup. We'll obviously see what happens because that game is not until November 15th. Texas at Georgia. To be the best, you've got to beat the best. These could be the two best teams in the SEC this year. I think they're going to be, 1 and 2 in the preseason poll when we get to media days here in a couple of months. Want to be a part of that. Great traditions, great fight song, great atmosphere, great crowd. I also want to see what the Athens Autobahn is all about. I'll be driving next to those Georgia football players, but that's the winner to me right there. Trip to Athens, between the hedges, Sanford Stadium, November 15th. That's the one that I'm going to try to get to. And if you can only pick one to go to this year, that would be my suggestion. All right, there you go. No more travel agent talk. No more geography talk here, at least for now. Let's shift gears here. The NBA draft lottery took place a couple of days ago, meaning we've got some updated mock drafts to talk about. Where will Tre Johnson end up at the next level? We got the latest rumors and also some intel on how Tre Johnson did at the NBA Combine these last couple of days. That's coming your way next, right here on Locked On Longhorns. Final segment on a Wednesday show. It is Wednesday, right? Yes, on a Wednesday show. Welcome back to Locked On Longhorns, your team every day. The NBA draft lottery went down on Monday night. Man, no controversy there, right? As a fan of the Dallas Mavericks, I was pretty happy with Monday's proceedings. I think Spurs fans out there were also pretty happy with Monday's proceedings. Rockets fans, maybe not so much. But we're here to talk about the Longhorns. And one Longhorn was directly impacted by the drawing of those ping pong balls. That is, of course, Tre Johnson. We've got some updated mock drafts following the lottery. Here's the draft order 1 through 10. Mavs, Spurs, Sixers, Hornets, Jazz, Wizards, Pelicans, Nets, Raptors, Rockets. Tre Johnson's going in the top 10. There's a chance he goes in the top 5, but one of those 10 teams, barring a trade, is going to end up drafting the lifetime Longhorn. So I looked at 5 different mocks after the lottery to try to figure out where he's going to end up. And there's no consensus pick, but there's a pretty consensus range for Tre. ESPN has him going 6th to Washington. CBS has him going 5th to Utah. Sports Illustrated also has Tre going 5th to Utah. The Athletic and NBA.com both have Tre Johnson going 6th to Washington. Again, not a consensus one pick, but the 5-6 range is where you're seeing Tre land in most of these mock drafts that have been dropped this week. Ironically enough, it's Tre Johnson and Jeremiah Fears, who went to Oklahoma. They're kind of jockeying for 5th and 6th right now. Every mock that has Tre 5th, Fears is going 6th, and vice versa. So it could be a Red River battle for that final pick in the top 5. Good news and bad news with these mocks. The good news is if Tre Johnson ends up in Utah or Washington, he's going to get to play a lot right away because those teams are really bad. They need talent. Tre Johnson is talent. He's going to have the opportunity to get on the court. Hell, he might be a day one starter as a rookie. So that's fun. The bad news, and unfortunately there's more bad news than good news, those teams suck. Like, they had the 2 worst records in the league last year. Utah has had some good seasons recently, but, since they traded Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, like, they've been rebuilding, and they're in the middle of that rebuild right now. Washington hasn't been good in forever. By the way, Charlotte is picking 4th. So if Tre Johnson goes a little higher than those projections, then he ends up in Charlotte. Charlotte's awful, and they've been awful for a long, long time. Charlotte, Utah, Washington, nobody would classify those as great NBA cities either. So bad franchises, not ideal places to live. Again, the glass half full is those teams are bad, so Tre's going to get the chance to play, which he wants to do. But I think Tre Johnson's a good enough player to where he could get minutes on a very good team. I know in the top 10, not a lot of good teams picking there, but look, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Philadelphia, all of those are better organizations. All of those teams have more talent than Utah, Washington, and Charlotte. It's like if the lottery went more according to form, or at least what was supposed to happen based on the percentages, Tre Johnson will likely be ending up in a much better spot from an organizational standpoint. So yeah, it would have been cool, obviously, for him to stay in the state of Texas. Got 3 Texas teams picking in the top 10. Would have been cool to end up in any of those spots. So Longhorn fans were going to be able to watch him a lot. Philly would have been a better destination. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe the mocks are wrong because those spots are not great. But hey, maybe Tre Johnson is the guy who can help turn one of those bad franchises around. You never know. I referenced it earlier, the NBA Combine going on right now, and Tre Johnson has been killing it. He had the fastest time in the agility drill out of anybody who's there. He had a 37.5-inch vertical, which measured 7th out of everybody who was there. Measured in at 6'5", just shy of 6'5", but had a 6'10" wingspan. So teams are looking for length. Tre Johnson has that. He shot really well during the shooting drills. He didn't miss a single shot in the mid-range pull-up drill that took place yesterday. Shot 68%, which is a very, very high number going through those drills. The form is obviously great. We all saw that firsthand during Tre's lone season at Texas. So I think he's going to be a top 5 pick. I think he should be a top 5 pick. It sounds like the lowest he's going to be is 6th, maybe 7th if things go horrifically wrong. But Tre Johnson leading the SEC in scoring as a true freshman in the best year the conference has ever had, basically carrying Texas to an NCAA tournament berth. Bad coaching, not a ton of talent around him. Tre Johnson had a fantastic year. And again, it sounds like he might end up on a bad team, but I feel like Tre Johnson in a good situation with good talent around him can be a winning player at the next level. That shot's going to translate. Great three-point shooter, great free throw shooter, and that matters. That's usually what NBA teams look at when they're trying to figure out if a guy's shot is going to translate to the next level. It's less three-point percentage and more free throw percentage, believe it or not, that they look at. Tre Johnson, a knockdown shooter from the charity stripe, a 3-level scorer. No surprise that he is tearing it up in those shooting drills, and no surprise that teams are starting to fall in love with him a little bit more. The draft will take place on June 25th, so a little bit more than a month away. We'll let you know what other rumors we hear about Tre Johnson, and obviously we'll talk about the NBA draft when we get much closer. But that's going to do it for today's episode. If you made it this far, number 1, thank you. Number 2, please remember to like, subscribe, rate 5 stars, share, leave a comment, all of those great things. Really do appreciate y'all making Locked On Longhorns a part of your day. For your next listen, be sure to check out the Locked On Portal Show. Brian Smith has the latest rumors, the portal entries, the portal signings, everything you need to know so you can be the most informed college football fan wherever you are. Find the portal on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Plenty more Texas football conversation. We'll also preview Texas OU baseball on tomorrow's show, a huge Red River matchup with the Horns trying to clinch the SEC championship in year 1. Plenty more to get to on tomorrow's show. But that's going to do it for today. Thank y'all again for tuning in. Until next time, horns up, mics off. We'll see y'all soon. This is Locked On Longhorns.